Hello, welcome to English Zone Rocks. Today's lesson is about memories. Yes, about the simple past. That's a grammar point. This lesson is taken from the book Oxford Discovery Futures Number One, the student's book. And what can you see in the image? Do you recognize that? It's a famous picture, a famous photograph. Man, nah, I don't think it's a photograph. Well, this is about the Titanic. And it says one event, different memories. So, was the band really playing when the ship sank? On April the 14th, 1912, the Titanic was crossing the Atlantic on a journey from England to America, to the US, yes. At 11:40 p.m., as the ship was traveling through icy waters 600 kilometers from land, it hit an iceberg. 3 hours later, the Titanic sank to the bottom of the ocean. While the ship was sinking, the crew were trying to help passengers onto lifeboats. But there weren't enough boats. Tragically, more than 1,500 people died. The facts about this historic event are well known. However, the stories that survivors later told were not always the same. Some said that the ship's band didn't stop playing until the ship sank. Others said that the band wasn't playing at the end. The crew were trying to save women and children first. Some passengers said that at least one man was wearing women's clothes because he wanted to escape. But other passengers said that this didn't happen. Stories that the crew tried to shoot violent passengers are also doubtful. When a very traumatic event occurs, people are stressed and they can't remember details. So, stories about terrible events and crimes are often unclear. That's why we will never know all the facts about the Titanic tragedy. All right? So, here there's a combination of tenses. It says here, on April the 14th, 1912, this is a time reference of the past. On plus date, con las fechas ponemos la preposition on, the Titanic was crossing the Atlantic. Here, this tense is past continuous. The Titanic was crossing. Why? Because there is a beginning, but there wasn't an end because it sank. The idea, I mean, is interrupted. Yes, this action. It was sailing, it was crossing the Atlantic, but it never reached their destination. Now, at 11:40, as the ship was traveling through icy waters, it hit an iceberg. This is a very short action. It hit an iceberg. Simple past. Hit, hit, hit. 3 hours later, the Titanic sank. Complete action. Sink, sank. Sank. Se hundió. That's the full thing. While, you see that there are connectors, while, as, conjunctions también podemos llamarlos. While the ship was sinking, the crew were trying to help passengers. Entonces, mientras se estaba hundiendo, the crew were trying, estaban intentando ayudar a los passengers. There weren't enough, no había. Y acá tenemos el there, ¿se acuerdan? There is, there are, para I, simple present. There were, there was, simple past. Here, boats is countable noun in the plural. So we say in the negative, there weren't enough boats. No había botes, así estos que están acá, digamos, ¿no? Enough, no había suficientes. Tragically, está buenísimo usar adverbs, ya saben. Suddenly, tragically. more than 1,500 people died. This is the final idea, okay? The facts about this historic event are well known because we are talking about the present. However, a connector, sin embargo, the stories that survivors later told were not always the same. Some people said, some people that, yes, said en pasado, that the ship's band didn't stop playing. La banda no dejó de sonar, no dejó de tocar until the ship sank. This is more or less what we see in the movie, the beautiful movie. Others said, others, ¿por qué others? Porque estamos hablando de, de otros passengers in the plural, yes? Si no sería other passengers. Y le pongo la S a passengers. Acá está funcionando como un sustantivo, others. That the band wasn't playing at the end. No estaba tocando. The crew were trying to save women and children first. Some passengers said, algunos pasajeros contaron, dijeron, that at least one man was wearing, un hombre solo estaba usando ropa femenina. Because, connector, porque, because he wanted to escape. Él se quería escapar en los barcos. But other passengers said that this didn't happen. Esto realmente no sucedió. So stories that the crew tried to shoot, que intentaban dispararle a los violent passengers, are also doubtful. When a very dramatic event occurs, esto está como dando un detalle, o sea, cuando algo así dramático, terrible happens, people are stressed and they can't remember details. So, like an excuse, all right? So, stories about terrible events and crimes are often unclear. That's why we will never know, nunca sabremos, future, all the facts about the Titanic tragedy. Entonces, miren qué lindo, un texto bastante interesante, especially about talking about memories, yes, different memories. And it starts with a question, was the band really playing when the ship sank? Fíjense, esta es una time clause. Cuando el barco se hundió. When the ship sank. Okay. Was the band really playing? Acá tenemos un past continuous. Incomplete action. Takes more time. When the ship sank, full. I mean, complete action, short. El barco se hundió. All right. And remember, the Titanic was crossing the Atlantic. Nunca llegó a destino. Well, that's it for today. You can leave your comments. Did you like the movie in the end? If you've seen it, all right. I've seen it many times. I think it was the first movie that I've seen. And I loved it. I loved it. And in some cinemas, it was cut in the middle of the story. And there was a break, and then they kept on watching it. But well, it's an interesting story. Then there are lots of stories that people mention that there is like a double boat similar to this one. Have you heard about that? ¿Escucharon ahí o escucharon, oyeron así hablar de un doble, otro barco que era el Titanic? And it had some failures, so they sunk this one. Well, hope you're okay. Hope that you can practice. The more, the better. See you. Bye.